Meditation is the practice of shifting our attention inward, off of the drama of the world, off of the drama of our thoughts, and into the silence, from which a sense of peace, well-being, and loving goodness naturally emerges. This sense of peace and love radiates outward from our mind, transforming our experience of ourself and our world. This is what meditation can do for you. Let's take a look at how all this works, how the drama gets started in the first place, and how to replace it with a sense of peace. But first, sometimes our mind is so busy and tangled up in our world that it's hard to disengage and shift inward. Here's a list of some activities that can help us slow down and disentangle from the busyness so that we can begin to shift. When you feel ready, sit comfortably and close your eyes. State an intention, whatever feels relevant for you. Our mind follows our intention. Tune inward and let the world fade from awareness. As you go inward, it might seem dark and empty and scary. We all have a small, fearful self called the ego. If there is fear, just notice it and stay focused inward. As you tune in to this new space, this new state, you can begin to detect your breath. This little nose represents the breath. The breath is not just the life force for your body. It represents the life force that underlies all of existence. In Chinese traditions, it is called qi or ki. In Hinduism, it is called prana. These eyes, closed and focused inward, represent consciousness, a sense of awareness of ourself and what's around us. It's not so much about seeing as it is about sensing. That's why the eyes are closed. There is this general awareness or consciousness, and then there is the ability to focus that awareness in certain directions. These arrows represent your focus, the direction of your awareness. There are thoughts in our mind. A thought is a flash or spark of experience. At first, thoughts are vague. Sometimes we barely notice them. It is our focus upon them that makes them more vivid, just like a flashlight lights things up so we can see them. Thoughts can be of anything, about anything. They can be words, images, sounds, music, voices in our head, physical sensations. There are emotions. Emotions are flashes of experience as well, flashes of feeling. They can feel good or bad. Sometimes we focus so much on something, we forget that it's just a flash. And instead of it just flashing in and out of our mind, it stays. It becomes our experience. Also, when we focus on thoughts, more thoughts pop into awareness. Every thought has an opposite. Too much focus on thoughts creates an overwhelming number of thoughts, and a sense of stress and conflict. We feel small at the mercy of all this chaos. Thoughts eventually become so vivid that we perceive them as physical. They are projected outward and become our world of experience, our life. And all these thoughts cover up the silence and the peace inherent in the silence. When we meditate, we become conscious of our awareness and our focus so that we can begin to manage them. We can rest in the silence, the peace, and we can also choose our experience rather than being at the mercy of random thoughts. To help us get a grip on our mind, we are going to label our experiences and give our consciousness a home base. We begin by labeling the breath. As you feel the breath come in through your nose, say to yourself, in. Let the breath flow out naturally and say to yourself, out. When you notice thoughts, positive or negative, say to yourself, thinking, and then return your focus to the breath, saying in, out. Returning our focus to the breath gives our consciousness a home base. Inherent in the breath is a sense of well-being. Through labeling and returning, the well-being of your breath becomes your home base, not the anxiety produced by your thoughts. Label your emotions, both good and bad, as feeling. You can name them more specifically if you want, or if you don't know quite what you're feeling, just label it as feeling. Don't overfeel or dive into emotions too deeply, and don't ignore them or push them away. Just get a sense of what you feel and return to the breath. The well-being of your breath is home base, not your feelings. Label what you sense and return to home base. Well-being is your home base, not your senses. When the well-being of your breath is your home base, the roller coaster of your thoughts loses its power over you. This won't happen all at once. It's just something you'll catch glimpses of as you go through your day and your life. Once you get the gist of acknowledging what's happening in your mind and returning to the home base of your breath, you can start to use the breath to take you into the deeper or higher levels of existence. Here is one technique. Let go of labeling and tune into your breath as closely as you can, as if you were laying your focus right on top of it, as if your focus and your breath are one experience. When your focus is intentional, steady, and concentrated on one point, then some really interesting experiences begin to happen, the opposite of what you might think. Instead of your experience becoming really small and narrow, a sense of infinity begins to emerge, a vast space of infinite intelligence, and a sense that every seemingly different aspect of existence is actually one unified infinite thing, the universe of your mind. This experience of one is an important spiritual concept. In Eastern traditions, it is referred to as Advaita, or non-duality. It can also be thought of as Christ consciousness. Love and kindness are inherent in this state. Thoughts from this state feel way deeper, way smarter, profound, yet so simple, as if you've always known, as if they've always existed, because indeed they have. Because in this state there is no time. The present moment is eternal. We feel love and kindness for our small ego self and for others. Issues that seem mysterious and impossible to solve from this state of mind just sort of dissolve in this higher state, or solutions come forth in our awareness. Again, this won't happen all at once, and you're not always aware of it as you're meditating. You will just start to catch glimpses of it as you go through your day. Moments of clarity and peace, sparks of deep insight. Really simple solutions to things you've been wondering about or struggling with. Love and appreciation for people and the world. So transforming your state of mind naturally transforms your world. This is what Einstein was getting at when he said we can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. This is the power of meditation. The small ego self thinks the idea of being able to transform your world so simply is preposterous and naive. It may take a few more years or lifetimes of thrashing around in the pain and drama to open to these possibilities. And that's okay, because the peaceful, loving, joyful truth is always there, underneath the stressful conflict of your thoughts. It will be there when we are ready for it. When you first start out, even just a few seconds is plenty, maybe a minute, 5 minutes if you can manage. 15 minutes a day is a nice goal to shoot for. A daily short practice is more beneficial than fewer, longer sessions. Also, a few minutes or even seconds at different points throughout your day is amazingly beneficial for recentering, clearing your mind, and refreshing yourself. The nice thing about a short, attainable goal is that it is not overwhelming, and once you settle in, you will generally want to go longer, and if not, that is fine as well. So a typical session of meditation may start with basic labeling and returning. Then, once you feel somewhat centered, you can drop the labeling and go deeper into the breath, into the experience of one. The goal is not to get rid of thought, but to disengage from it as your primary reality and allow well-being to be your primary reality. It's not how many times you get lost, but how many times you return. With sincere intention and practice, your state of mind will eventually shift. And when your state of mind shifts, the way you experience yourself and your world will shift as well. The basic theory is simple, but intentional living is a lifelong practice. There will be more problems and tools to disengage from them. There will be deeper, more joyful states of mind to discover. This video is just the introduction to the universe of your mind.